I'm at this lovely park that is hot. Sun is out. Sun is very much so out on this Thursday afternoon. And guess what? Another no tripod day. Oh, this much. Oh my gosh, there's so much shade. Just yeah, the sun is beaming. But sadly, I could barely see my phone when I put it this way. So, yeah, I'm just gonna yap. To be honest, this new moon in Pisces is really affecting me. I'll be quite frank. I normally feel things like a few days before they happen. So this is a not a new feeling, per se, but it's like, mm, it's tumultuous. It's definitely a tumultuous feeling. It feels like isolation. It feels like me trying to break being a perfectionist. And I was listening to a podcast today as well, and they were talking about, um, their feelings and their emotions too. So I guess it kind of got triggered with listening to that podcast today. But anyway, it's like I just listened to 2 episodes. It wasn't even more than 3 hours that I listened to, but it was like the host was talking about how they were a people pleaser when they were younger, and then they kind of lived a bunch of different lives. And then with YouTube, he became like this character, and then people were like, "Oh, where's this?" And it was people like just saying, "Oh, where's this person that you made online, like this persona, right?" And then you have like, you know, how his family sees him, and then how his school at the time he was going to college, and he was in like different um like presidential, or not presidential, I'm sorry. He was like in a bunch of different clubs, but he was like the president and vice president um for certain clubs, and he was like an English major, so he thought he was going to be a teacher, and then he just ended up becoming this persona on YouTube. And then after he tried to change from that persona, as the years went by, going viral a lot of times, but he was saying how since he's a content creator in various different platforms, he's successful for sure, surely, um, but he was saying how his level of being a people pleaser led to perfectionism, but at the same time he was living different lives or different versions of himself to others. So that concept of perfectionism and being different people is like made him want to not really do um a lot, like not really want to be as productive, I guess is the way to word it. But he was saying how he struggled with his identity a little bit more after becoming a content creator. And it's like, yeah, I totally get that, because oh, hello in the chat, hi. Because when I wanted to um like post on TikTok or YouTube, for anyone who follows me from TikTok, um it was like, you know, definitely following trends, definitely just saying things that kind of came to me during meditation, or commenting on things, in the news about like free Palestine, free Sudan, free the Democratic Republic of Congo, give the land back. Um, you know, People should live more in love instead of prejudice. You know, um, doing shadow work, facing yourself, healing, all these types of concepts that people are talking about, right? But also like sharing from, like, if I had a dark night of the soul. The first way I said that was funny because I was not even like paying attention to what I was saying. I was looking at this freaking piece of plastic in the field. Ugh, hate litter. But what's new, right? Um, but it was like, oh, thank you for the like as well. Thank you for liking the live. I'll probably get red in the face because, um, again, I'm literally right in the sun. So yeah, I did not put on any sunscreen. Thank you to everybody who's commenting in the chat. The viewers here. But I say it every live, but I'm gonna try to not focus so much in the chat, just so people who are listening back to the recording after it's posted can just listen without interruptions. And I actually did go back and watch one or two of my lives. One of them I was like, you could tell I was high, like I was talking very low and kind of slowly. And that was the one where I was sitting outside back against a tree, and it was like about to rain, and then that police car showed up. So that was kind of funny. This is it for the chat, thumbs up, by the way. But also it was funny because I was like, oh, let me focus on a topic, let me focus on whatever I'm saying, and then I would like branch off, or like squirrel, right? Like, oh, squirrel, like with different topics. And I was listening back to it, I'm like, man, I'm annoying myself. Like, the way I'm talking about topics, I'm annoying myself. So it was kind of funny. But I appreciate like my growth, right? Like I talked very candidly about how I was trying to stop, and I'm attempting to stop again, not just take a tolerance break, but I do think smoking or getting high, like, plant-based therapy, like things like that, I think it's okay, occasionally, like for a celebration, for a birthday, something like that. But I think the way that a lot of things are structured that I've witnessed, experienced, or just, other people online or in person have told me, like in school or working with a coworker or, whatever, like a lot of society is not meant for people to actually like level up. A lot of society is actually meant to be like a crabs in a bucket and survival, may the best man win. But then it's like, okay, a lot of people have money, a lot of people have relationships with other people, a lot of people and like they get into positions of power, or they get a job. Let's just say they get a job because they knew someone, or they knew the boss's child, or they're dating someone and they're like, oh, we're understaffed, and the person they're dating comes in and works at the job now, and it's like a lot of favoritism. It's a lot of favoritism, and a lot of things in my life. I have CPTSD, if you're a new watcher, but I've said in my previous lives, like I have CPTSD, and that's not something that is easily dealt with. That's not something that is like, something that you get over. It completely changes the way that you look at relationships. It changes the way that you view society. It changes the way that you interact with yourself even. Like, it's issues stemming from abandonment, stemming from moving and never having a solid friend group or solid community or place, like third space that you go to. Hello in the chat. And it's like, some of it is just trauma from family, stuff I'm not going to obviously say on a live, but it's like genuinely something that changes you. And I'm trying to think of my adulthood more like something that I'm trying to take on with a new set of eyes and a new perspective, since I have so much experience living in different areas and in different communities. But it's like if there's no community around you, then it really takes a toll on you. And what's it called? I'm trying to find a way to pivot, but it's like going back to the like person I was talking about with the podcast. Like I definitely feel that with like being a people pleaser before in my adulthood. It's like, you know, I'm not a people pleaser. Like I actually was very angry and very upset with how life treated me, with how my family treated other family members, other siblings, and then in comparison to me. And then it's like with a lot of things that are coming up now, because Pisces is the a water sign, but they're very emotional. Pisces is dealing with very deep emotions, the deep waters, right? The depth of your emotions. And astrology is a science, so I'm not even gonna like address people who comment or say anything against astrology, because like it's literally stars in the it's literally stars in the sky, and they're associated with character traits from when people were born, using the stars to tell the time. And then after, obviously, thousands thousands of years, they've used these maps and the scientific studies and astrology and astronomy together. So it's not like, it's fake. It's again, with society and how they mainstream things in the media, and it's like they take a really big, really complex, really, chewy, like gritty concept, and they're like, oh, let's shrink it and sell it to people. And it's like, I don't understand that either. That's a whole, like, I could talk about that for hours and hours and hours, especially with the different jobs I've worked. It's like so much of this society, because I can't speak for every single country, obviously, but in American society, so much is just BS. Like, they're just trying to sell you a product, they're trying to sell you a remedy, they're trying to sell you something because they want you to believe that there's something wrong with you so that you could buy something to make yourself feel better. And it's like, hey, what if we as a society just said, I'm already fine. I feel fine. I don't need to buy all this junk. I don't need to wear these certain clothes. I don't need to have this status. I don't need to drive a fancy car, have a super expensive house, and just vibe. Like, it's really crazy to me how people try to, not even try, but it's like ingrained within the society especially, but it's ingrained to like change yourself to fit in, change yourself to get this job, change yourself to get in this relationship, change yourself to get this opportunity, change yourself to be more acceptable. And it's like, hey, I'm tired of changing, actually. I'm tired of being a people pleaser. I'm tired of wearing a fake, persona, right? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of perfectionism even in itself, because there are times where I go to sleep and I don't brush my teeth. I just pass out. Right? Does it affect my teeth? Yes, because I've done that more than once. Does it affect this piercing in my mouth? Yes, absolutely. Not going to go into my personal health or anything, but there are things that I do that are tough habits to break. Tough habits to break. And as I'm like processing my emotions, listening to this podcast, just feeling my environment, I guess, for lack of better words, it's like I just cry, and I was self-soothing today, before the park even, and then my little brother came home from school and I talked to him and I laughed and I smiled and I was like, wow, like a freaking like interaction that took less than 10 minutes. I didn't time it, but it was only like a few minutes long. Um, asking someone questions, giggling, laughing, checking in, being silly. 5 minutes of that, and my whole attitude shifted. I thought that was gonna snap, but my fingers are too sweaty, I guess. Snap, snappy. But it's like, why? Like, why did that work? Wow, that's crazy. That's what being a human is. You have moments where you're like, I don't want to talk to anyone, I don't like you. These are all the faults. You suck. Highlighting the negative, and then back to that frequency, right? Vibration, frequency. Um, alchemy. Alchemize the dense energy, right? And then it's like other days I'm like, you know what? I really want to talk to this family member. I really want to just ask this question. I really want to just be silly with someone close by me. Or I want to have a conversation with that parent of 4 children at the park. Like, I want to genuinely, like, know people and be known myself. Like, that's honestly my biggest yearning. And even with the spirituality stuff, because I was, obviously, on the way here picking up trash from the neighborhoods and stuff. And then it's like, just looking around, thinking, meditating on my thoughts, letting them just letting them go instead of letting them circulate, right? And it's like, that's a cool bike. See, squirrel moment. It's a cool motorcycle though. But then it's like I have these moments where it's like, just genuinely trying to be to myself, be in a neutral stance with people, not mess with them, not upset them. And then there's other times where I'm like, oh, why are they so disorganized? Why are they so messy? Why are they so unhygienic? And I just take people's flaws to heart, or or I take their shortcomings and I take them personally. And I 100% know that that's what my family did, and some of what I'm feeling and some of what I'm experiencing and acting like is from the different people who raised me. And it's like, I know I'm not a people pleaser anymore, and perfectionism sucks anyway. Like, no one's perfect. Everyone's heard that. No one's perfect, right? But it's like, it takes too much space in your brain to be a perfectionist. It takes too much space in your brain to, like, keep track of what everyone's doing. It takes up too much space in your mind to be negative all the freaking time. And then it's like, oh, shift your vibration, change your vibration. But then there's genuine moments where you're like, I don't want to go outside. I just want to sit here and cry. And just think about the things that are coming up to the surface, so to speak. The surface, right? The surface being your awareness. So I'm having a lot of moments of awareness, and self-soothing. It's like, after getting a bunch of rejection, basically today, with trying to apply for things, or get funding for other things, or stuff around work. And it's like, oh my gosh, little bug, I'm sorry, distracted. But then it's like, genuinely, sorry, it's throwing me off. This is just a guy on a lawnmower, like, so loud. But yeah, it's like, genuinely I have those moments where I feel like I want to just start over. I want to have a new brain, or just rinse out the brain that I have, like, why is it that I feel these things so intensely? Why is it that these experiences and feelings of regret keep coming up? And I even had to, like, check myself, like, really seriously. But back to the self-soothing, because I want to share that first and then the check. But it was like, with the self-soothing stuff, I was like, you know what? this rejection is happening because something better is for you, you know? Or this rejection is not, going to define your life, right? This moment will pass, this too shall pass. Just because one person rejects you doesn't mean the whole world rejects you. That's what life is about. Life is about change. Life is about slow progress. Life is about, for the better part, rejection, so to speak. So gnats are so annoying. Um, and I was able to calm down a little bit more after that, but I don't know, it was like grief, like just that sting of not being accepted by a community or not being able to fully form and build a community. It's like really painful. And it's like even if it's small, even if it's a small type of like rejection, like I don't know where it originated from either, but it's like whenever I'm rejected, either like outright, not even someone like being rude, like if I'm rejected for something, it just stings so bad. Even if it's from like just applying for a job, it's like, hold on. There's like 5 people that just walked in their group past me. But it was like, it's like that concept of rejection being like my deepest wound. Um, I know a lot of people have known that and still like, stepped on that button, so to speak, or pushed that button. Um, and that doesn't feel good either when you are vulnerable with people and they're like, sorry, I can't really help you, or oh, sorry, that stinks, and then kind of just move on with their life. Which is another reason why I took being a content creator or social media person like way too seriously. Because I'm like, oh, it's an online community, an online platform. Um, you go on there every day, you follow people's pages, you check up with their videos, posts, whatever, their live streams, right? And then, sometimes you'll comment or you'll DM them or something, but it's like that direct communication, excuse me, it's like a hit of dopamine. Um, and the amount of dopamine and serotonin that we get from social media apps and connecting online really does change your brain chemistry. Really does. Because it creates that, like, roots attachment to it. And then it's like, if you delete your page or your post get flagged or your content gets, doesn't get boosted or doesn't get put into the algorithm as much as previously or as much as other people. And then it gets into comparison. Why am I not enough? And it's like, well, social media isn't a popularity contest. That's why it's supposed to have an algorithm. It's supposed to be generated off of what people gravitate towards and click on and engage and watch. Not, oh, this person has millions of subscribers and merch and whatever else. But it's also hard to not compare yourself when you go online, because like honestly, I feel like the internet was just meant to be for information, right? Like, imagine if we all went online and just posted like let's just say a cooking recipe, and it was like another person posted, and then all of us learned how to make different recipes. Like, oh, I know how to make this smoothie, I know how to make this type of baked dish, I know how to make this type of stew or pasta or salad, whatever. And it's like, cool, the internet can be used for all people to share recipes. Awesome. But if you, even take it a step further, like if you are training to be a neuroscientist or a lawyer or a paralegal or a accountant or a tax attorney or what's another specific, or a sports referee, like something really specific and intricate, but those are respected, like careers and jobs. Like, imagine if all of those people learned and studied and had the experiences they had in that field and posted that on the internet, and everybody just learned what it was like to be in that field with that type of experience, with that type of education. They're like, oh, actually I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, but after reading about what this person has been doing and their experiences, I'm going to change my mind and do this other thing that I saw online. And it was just transparent, honest information instead of what we have today, where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, my nose. I keep rubbing my nose. It's just like itching. But then it's like, you go on the internet, what is it? Ads everywhere. Just ads. You go online, there's an advertisement, literally like a pop-up advertisement on an article I'm trying to read. Or it's an advertisement on the side of, this video that I'm watching. Or it's like, obviously you listen to music, you get ads. You try to watch something, you get an ad. It's like, or you're trying to meditate and they don't have like that off, so they get like a mid-roll ad, I think is what it's called, like a mid-roll ad for monetization. But then it's like, it's just constant interruptions, and things take more time than they need to. And it's like, just get to the point, just give the information, just get straight to it. Like, and for me, I honestly feel like a fish out of water. Genuinely a fish out of water. And this is me being honest and vulnerable. Like, it's actually paused the amount of spiritual depth that I have felt in the past. And I've been doing cleansing and grounding and all sorts of things, like walking, doing exercises outside, looking at the dragonflies, being more present with myself, self-soothing. It's like something's literally always coming up in life. And I don't think that we were meant to be this aware of other people's problems or other people's anxieties. I genuinely think that television, the internet, the cell phone, broadcasting, the radio, I genuinely feel like all of those things were supposed to be helpful and were supposed to be information based. And they've turned into who has the most money and who can get the most views, and whoever can get the most views can get more money. And for a lot of things, for me, it's like, I want to just be candid with people and be honest, but there's also like the thing with personas and people. It's like, I just get straight to the point with people, and then I like backtrack if they need more details, but it's like, I value honesty and just getting to the most baseline truth. Like, what's the rawest, deepest, most honest truth? Or what is it that I'm feeling that's accurate and not, just something on the surface? Like, what's beneath that? What's at the root of it? And I was self-soothing myself, because I'm like, life isn't just rejection. Life isn't just being by yourself. Life isn't, everything you're feeling in this moment. This will pass. But then it's like, I don't know that for certain. I don't know that for certain. I don't hope that in my life. Like, I hope to make content. I hope to make a community here. I hope to build with other people in the future. I hope that, everything that I do is successful. But it's like I don't even know if it's intrusive thoughts or like self-sabotaging thoughts or regretful thoughts. I don't know what it is, but it's like, I had to back to that point about me checking myself. Like, I had to seriously check myself, because I was romanticizing a relationship and remembering like a specific memory. I was like, oh, that was so sweet. I remember when, he did that. But I was like, Jazio, you need to stop having these romantic feelings or these feelings of attachment to a situationship. You literally were crying to them, and you're like, I don't want you to have my picture that I gave you. I don't want us to hang out anymore if it's not going to be consistent. I don't want to keep doing this, me giving a lot of my time and energy, and you not even giving as much as you could, I guess, but also not valuing each other's time when we were together, or being overly sexual, like just all those things I don't like. Like, I genuinely need to have an emotional connection with someone to be intimate or in a relationship with them. And I don't want to have short-term relationships either. So it's like, I do have high standards. That's an interesting sound. I do have high standards for myself, but I was like, Jaziel, you need to stop thinking about this person in this manner, because one memory of him holding your hand and driving at the same time literally is like, oh, that's cute, right? But the rest of the relationship gave you anxiety, gave you panic attacks, like made you feel insecure, like, you know. And I feel like that's what I've kind of been trying to get myself out of, this whimsical, like, rose-colored glasses thing, and just focusing my energy on exercising and, like, doing more educational content. But it's also like, I'm a very niche person. I'm a very specific person. I'm a very layered person. So sometimes I could rub someone the wrong way, and, months, years later, or whatnot, that person can go back and gravitate towards me again, and I'm like, I thought you hated me, or I thought you didn't like me, or I thought you were rubbed the wrong way by me. Because I like to communicate in a way that makes things very clear with people and where I stand with them. If not, I will literally not speak to you again. Like, it's not even that hard for me to, like, detach. But with family, it's like, whoa, why do I feel like I'm bound to them? Why do I feel like I'm bound to their opinions? Why do I feel like I'm bound to whatever they think of me and whatnot? So I'm trying to reshape my mind and fortify my brain in a clear way that doesn't make me feel like crying or having an emotion or revisiting a memory is painful. That's cool looking cicada. But at the same time, it's like, I know I'm in my head this much because I'm not around a community. Like, I don't have a community that's specifically for me. I don't have, a friendship or a best friend that I've had for 5-10 years. I don't have a childhood best friend. I don't have a 4-year relationship. Dragonflies are so cute. I hope it picks up. They're really beautiful. That one on the rock. I'm trying to get close without scaring it. I'm stepping on the rock, scared it away. But yeah, I'm kind of like, it feels like I'm trying to shed a layer of skin, and it's just like, I'm trying to go like this, like, and just like, and right now I can only just go like, it's so slow, man. It's such a slow feeling. And then it's like, everything changed in 2020. Everything changed in 2020. Like, literally, the way that we talk to people is different. The way that we communicate, like, even just now, like, I stuttered, right? But it was like, the way that I communicate with people is sometimes more dramatic, or the way that I explain things is in too much detail, or the way that I get, like, hyper passionate about something, it's like very different. And again, I'm not gonna read chat, so sorry. Kind of just ranting right now, but these, like, emotions keep coming up from the moon, and the new moon in Pisces being on the 7th and 8th for visible for 2 days, and it's supposedly a blood moon. So it's a very intense feeling. I didn't bring my notebook, but there's the fall equinox is later this month. There's like a moon and Jupiter conjunction, if I'm not mistaken, and then this blood moon, and then there's a full moon later. So it's like there are so many things happening in September, and it's like I know this layer of skin is gonna come off like by the end of this month, obviously. Look how big the moon looks. Oh my gosh. And it's only Thursday too. Like, it already looks like full moon. My goodness. Or new moon. I'm not even like trying to pay attention to my grammar right now, but it's like so much has changed, and I feel like there were genuine things that got scooped out or removed from society that were just not replaced. Like, a lot was taken away besides human life. Rest in peace to those who transitioned, sadly. But there's a lot of things that are just morally not right. A lot of things that are just letting people become lost. Like, I talked about it before, but AI, ChatGPT, the way that some people use other websites to think for them or to do for them instead of using their own brain, right? You have all this fake dopamine, fake happiness, fake or stimulant manipulated manipulated type of happiness or feeling of happiness. But that's like what in society actually makes people happy? What in society actually brings people together? What do we have in society that actually forms groups and communities? Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if everyone could go to a therapist, sorry. Imagine if everyone had access to clean water and healthy foods and good nutritious options. Imagine if everyone were able to have, a beautiful park like this with their tax money, right? That they pay for. Just like with libraries. All libraries should be updated and look clean and be filled with books and things, because that's what you pay your taxes for, right? And it just genuinely makes me question like how things are set up, because it's like if people don't know that there's community out there for them, how are they going to reach it, right? If people don't know that someone loves them and values them and cherishes them, how are they going to know, right? It's the same thing. Like, if people are not able to vocalize themselves or not able to get their point across, then it kind of just feels like, as I look over at the fence, there's like a huge spider web. Like, literally, it feels like you're stuck in a web. And that's how I'm feeling right now, honestly, because it's also very much environmental impact. Like, the environment that you live in impacts how you think. And how you think, again, I've broken this down in the scientific way, but how you think affects how you take care of yourself and how you take action in your life. And then it's crazy because if people don't have like trauma therapy or somatic therapy or something like EMDR, like very specific to help that person get over what they went through, it's like you could become a hermit in life, and people just be like, well, they're an adult now, they could take care of themselves. And it's like, no, people genuinely have things that they need help with. People genuinely have things that they need from community, from society. Nobody's meant to live life isolated. Nobody's meant to live life alone. Nobody's meant to be a lone wolf, right? There's so many comparisons with animals and humans and insects and whatever, but it's like if you know that you are a social creature, you need to be around a society that promotes social behavior that is healthy. You need to be in a society that promotes being healthy and kind to yourself. You need to be in a society that promotes um, movement and clean eating and has clean water, right? Like even the water that we drink, like think about where the water came from. When you are washing your hands, washing dishes, taking a shower, where is that water coming from? Is that water clean? Is that water well water? Is that water sanitized water? Is that water aquifer water? Right? There are so many concepts and things individually that can affect someone and the way that they think. And even if you try to analyze or pathologize or become aware enough of the issues in your life or shortcomings or the patterns that no longer serve you or the habits that no longer serve you, it can still be extremely hard to stop doing those things. It can still be extremely hard to stop an addiction. It can be extremely hard to stop a anxious thought loop. It can be extremely hard to want to motivate yourself to um, get out of bed and work out or apply for things when the society itself doesn't motivate people anymore. Money doesn't motivate everyone, right? Having a family and a white picket fence and a dog doesn't motivate everyone. It doesn't. It truly does not. Sad to say it, but it does not. Facing away from the sun is for this video, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, with all of this, and I'm clearly, you can see I'm not in a high vibration today. I'm purging the denser, lower vibrations to try to get back to that high vibration. And I didn't bring my tripod, so you can see me switching my arms a bunch. And look, the moon again, just so bright. But it's genuinely like something that's confusing me, because if we can't get these simple small moving pieces working together to create the big piece, then we can't create the big well-oiled machine that we need to be. We can't come together in unison. We can't come together in harmony. And I'm not trying to speak these things as though they are forever this way, but it's hard not to look outside of yourself for reassurance or accomplishment or validation, you know? And that is, again, that is the society built here. Sure, you could have different houses and people of different backgrounds and people of different socioeconomics and money, right? You could have all these different things, but it doesn't better or help a society if everyone's separated, if everyone's in competition, if everyone's just trying to dog the other person to make themselves look better, or if everybody's criticizing everybody, you know? Because, like, even with me, oh my gosh, wait, I want to see if this will fit on the fence. It does, but I don't think you can see me. It fits on the top, but this one is too short to hold it, I think. Hold on. Let me see it. Nah. Oh my gosh, I almost dropped on the back side. Yeah, no. And look at this huge crack in the ground. Oh my goodness. That's actually crazy, right? And then for me, like, me personally, I care so much about the earth that genuinely would make me cry. The first time I would see, or the first time I saw like a big crack in the ground, like I got sad. I got very, very sad. But that would genuinely make me cry, like if I were younger and knowing what I know now. Because that's just greed. Human greed. human greed. It's not enough water being routed back into the streams and the lakes and the rivers. So the land and the dirt and the soil, it's not being nourished. Like, and the amount of people that live in an area, like even going like on a plane ride, right? If you are fortunate enough to travel by plane, right? It is something that can be scary. It is the quickest option. But anyway, it's like even going on a plane, look at the window, getting the window seat. You could look at the land and see, okay, where do people live? They live in the drier patches, right? That's what reflects it is humans live there. The greenest, most luscious, most cared for, most vibrant colors are where humans are not, where factories, power plants, warehouse facilities, where all those things are, is where the land is drier, right? Loud dogs. They're so cute and small. And it's like, these things are having real impacts and consequences. Clearly they want to be in my live, barking like that. It's just funny. But it's like these things have real consequences. Like genuine, real consequences. And what's also frustrating to me is like it feels almost as if we're just a society that just wants to keep moving, and just completely propel ourselves into the future, and we're not caring about the planet. We're not caring about our bodies enough. We're not caring about the state of society enough. We're not caring about our neighbor, the people next to us, the people who live where we're visiting. It's complete moral bankruptcy. Complete moral bankruptcy. And I'm not saying this to sound virtuous either. Like I don't post anything. I don't make educational content. I don't do social media to seem virtuous. I do it to prove who I am actually, really. Because I don't bring this honesty to a lot of people. They feel like it's too negative or too confrontational, or it's draining. And it's like, okay, it's draining for one or two people to think about, but if all of us collectively thought about it, maybe it wouldn't be draining to the few. Maybe it would actually be equal and, figure out a solution. Sunflowers are so beautiful. Cicadas. Very loud cicadas. More barking dogs. That too. It's like, I genuinely feel like we've lost kindness somewhere. I don't even know if it was that prevalent before the lockdown and presidencies and all these things, but it's like the way that people communicate with others is like routine, instruction, schedule. Oh, we need to do this. Oh, you didn't do this. Or I need to do this because I didn't do this. And it's like, when did we become such robotic beings? When did we become, oh, I have a master to serve. I need to finish this deadline. I need to do this job. I need to please these people. And it's like, whoa. Why do I need to take on this environment solely? Why do I need to fix these problems solely? Why do I need to be the one to vocalize these things? Oh, that's right, because no one else is. No one else will. Just like with this freaking litter, right? Why do I need to pick it up? Because clearly no one's around and no one else will. And then it gets to a point where you're just like, you know what? Why am I the person for this? I don't want to be the person for this. And then you then you create space, then you become quieter, then the people around you don't put in as much effort anymore because you realize, hey, you were putting in the effort and they were just mirroring a little bit or showing up a little bit. And then it's like, okay, let these people be wrong about you. Let them. You know? There's so many versions of me out there in the world. Right? So many versions of me. I'm a charitable person to some people. I'm a rude, stuck-up person to some people. I'm a thief to others. I'm a giver to others. I'm crazy to some people. And I'm the best love, the best relationship they've ever had to some other people. And it's like, genuinely, whoa. Like, that's the thing that helped me crack, being a people pleaser. Because it's like, there's so many different parts of you and so many layers and so many things that go into a person or a human being or, a personality, right? You can't just pinpoint one thing about someone. You can't just only accept some things. And that's why I genuinely feel like society, relationships now, especially in the West, you are in the United States, you know it's not united anymore. You know that. I haven't been on TikTok for a month and a half now, but since almost 2 months. But since then, last time they were talking about immigration and raids and rounding people up and abducting people, false imprisonment, lying, right? All these things, riots, people coming together to protest, people coming together to try to attack other people coming together to be hateful and rude and mean. And then it's just like, wow, I'm taking all this in, and it is not making me feel like a better person. It is not making me feel like I need to become aware of all of this. And I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on even my Snapchat. I don't even look through my Snapchat memories or anything anymore. Like, cute little cat. It's like, genuinely, it makes me sad to think about, because it's like, even with like tarot readings or like channeled messages, oracle messages, it's like so much of that is online or is out today. So it's like, okay, there's something for everyone, but then it's like, okay, why does this keep popping up on my page, and then it's like, because you keep clicking on it, or because this, or because that, or this or that, and it's like, well, I don't know what to do. I want to just go scroll on my page and see some happy content, see some uplifting content. Like, I was so happy when I found, I don't remember the country, but it was like a bunch of people who volunteered to clean up rivers and forests and streams. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I commented, I was like, this is so good, they should get paid. Excuse me. And that got like over 1,000 likes on it. So like, people genuinely appreciated seeing that, and people being positive. But then it's like, the internet and apps are not all that way, right? Going back to what I was saying at the park, like, imagine if apps and the internet was just information, just people's experiences, just knowledge, instead of what we see today. Like, there's so much injustice happening, there's so much wrongdoing, there's so much breaking the law, breaking moral code, breaking societal coming together. I don't know how to word that, but it's so much disharmonious things online. And then you could go on a live, you can go on someone's page, you can go on a post and not agree with what they're saying, or ask a question, or ask something to get clarity, and they might take offense to it, and then suddenly you just get a direct channel or a direct line of negativity or insults or whatever it is, right? But it's like, how do we solve these things? As disconnected as we are, how do we come together? Because clearly, in 2025, people are still working. People are still paying taxes. People are still paying to live somewhere. People are paying for water on a planet that's mostly water. Just think about that. Let's pause and think. Right. Just think. The air we breathe, the water we drink, and the ground that we walk. Yet, we don't cherish it. We don't value it. We don't respect it. For money. Those birds. I want to be free like a bird. I want to be just like that. In a flock, high in the sky, just observing things. Look, they joined up with more birds. More groups of birds. It was like 30, not 30. That was like 20 birds just now. But it's like, there's so much change happening all the time, and we don't need to be aware of it. We need to come together and decide, or come together and disband the nonsense online. Because having all these things that protest and be upset about, and things that are just eating us in the back of our minds, it is not good for our health. It's not good for our health. Just like if you were, again, going back to that podcast, if you're living separate lives, it's going to catch up to you. It's going to catch up to you. I don't know why the screen was so dark just then. That's interesting. But it's going to catch up to you, right? Whatever you're doing is going to catch up to you. It will. It will. You're going to slip up. You're going to lie to the wrong person. You're going to forget a detail. You're going to do something. And it's going to make you slip up. I thought that was a real bunny for a second, but it's like someone's yard decoration. It caught me off guard. But it's genuinely, we need more people to find common ground or a middle ground with, so that we don't have to have these feelings of, feelings of disconnection, or feelings of nothing's gonna change. I don't know why the screen just went dark like that. That's weird. But it's people need hope. They need to be rewarded in life. They need to have positivity and something to be happy about. Not just going to one place on the weekend, or not just getting high or taking a stimulant or a substance at the end of the day. Not just focusing all your energy and effort into a relationship that's not meant to take over your life, but people treat relationships and marriages that way and lose themselves. Completely know that role and understand that. I did that myself in the past, but genuinely, I feel like there are a lot of lost people. There are a lot of people just walking around in the world like that. There are genuinely people who want to know, who want to feel, who want to observe, who want to be a part of something bigger, who want to have that emotional depth, have that emotional deepness. But it's I don't know what naturally we can do to find connection. I don't know what naturally we can do to find community anymore. Because it's what if you're not a religious person? What if you're not a person who wants to just go outside and mingle, who doesn't like big crowds, the more introverted people. But I feel like everybody's introverted now. Genuinely, you could be walking past someone on the sidewalk or at a park, and they just won't speak to you. They only speak to their group. Look, the birds, more bird groups. been seeing so many birds. More, even more. Wow. Where are they coming from? Because clearly they're like, we need to get out of there and go over there. That's crazy. We just left that sidewalk like that. That's crazy. So yeah, I'm genuinely trying to like wrap my mind around such like big concepts in life, but I also just want to get to the root of it so I could release it. Like, I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to carry any of this dense energy at all. At all. The beautiful sunset. But I also just genuinely don't want to feel like I need to be the odd one out and the unicorn. So someone has a unicorn decoration on their lawn. More birds! More groups of birds! Where are they going? Oh my goodness. That's crazy. There's like 50 birds within the last 5 minutes. Like more. More of them. More bird groups. So yeah, I just feel a little bit like, I don't know, like it's definitely a big, oh my gosh, as I say, a big period of change. I don't know where these birds are coming from. Oh my gosh. I hope y'all can see this. I hope the camera picks this up. I really do. I really hope y'all can see these birds. Oh my gosh! I don't even know what type of bird those are. Okay, that had to be 100 now. That had to be 100 birds now. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but I genuinely think it's time for change. And not change like, oh, I need to change my whole life. Oh, I need to change the way I think. Oh, I need to change this relationship. No, like, I genuinely just feel like there's about to be a really big change because the level of introspection and like existentialism and questioning life that people are doing at way younger ages. I'm 26, guys. I'm 26, and I have this level of existentialism and dread and just like questioning and feeling off about life in the world. Like, I talk about meditation, I talk about raising your vibration, I talk about all these really cool sciencey things that intermingle, but I genuinely know that when I walk into the real world, there are people who don't do any of those things. There are people who don't meditate, who don't brush their teeth and floss and use mouthwash and do all those things. There are people just like me, right? Again, I'm not saying these things to sound virtuous or sound better than people. Again, I gave an example of me going to sleep not brushing my teeth. But it's like there are genuinely people who have no aspect of control in their life or themselves. And look, more of these birds in the trees and on this line. And more groups of birds flying away. Look at that. I hope this is picking up. I genuinely hope this camera is picking this up. Because now it looks like a spirit is moving through these birds. I'm not going to cap Kuyu, even though I know birds migrate in big flocks. But this number of birds in this moment as I'm walking. And I'm like, oh, more birds. I see more birds. Point the camera. But it's like I genuinely look down the whole line. And I'm genuinely like, I know that there are people who actually want to live differently and take care of themselves, but they just don't have that mindset. They don't have that instilled within them. They don't have that connection level with their brain or with others. And to an extent, we're all like that now. We're all less social. We're all more anxious. We're all more ungrounded with all of these things happening, with all of the third spaces being on a virtual or digital platform, right? So there's way more things to feel like you're missing out on in life. There's way more things to feel like you don't know about life. There's way more things to feel like, oh, I'm not caught up, or I'm not where I need to be. And again, the comparison game. And sometimes, if you're relying on others too much, then it becomes the blame game. And clearly you could see, my thought space. But it's like, I really wonder why life became so complex. Life was so simple when you were younger. And I don't mean that in a life was so simple because you didn't have to worry about money or what you were doing or what you're eating or what you're wearing. I mean, everything feels like it takes more time to decide on. Everything feels like it takes more effort, more energy, more discipline, more umph. I don't know what else to say, honestly, because I'm tired of trying. I'm tired of trying every single day like I'm training for something extreme, and then it's just me trying to get a job, or me trying to build my small business, or me trying to be more consistent on live, or me trying to get out of my head. It's like, wow, when did life get this difficult to process? And I'm actually less informed, less connected, and less processing than I was the last 5 years since lockdown, because everyone went onto a platform or online because they were home or just inside more, right? And this is where I'm going to leave these thoughts. But this is the cool tree that I said I was going to show last live. And here it is. Okay. I was going to say very hard, but then I just cracked that piece. But this has no fruit, no plants, no greenery at all. It's by itself. And there aren't any trees around it, really, to even send it nutrients to the roots. So this is a great comparison, actually. And it's funny because I thought this coolest tree because it was just standing up by itself. But like listening to what I'm saying and looking at this tree, it's like, okay, if you didn't know this about trees or about plants, if they are next to each other, they will send each other like nourishment, like chlorophyll or certain things through the roots in the ground. So if there are no trees or plants near it, the plant will most likely have to rely on the sun and the weather. And then, as you saw, it's very hot, very dry here. So this tree has no food or shade or sustenance. And that's what isolation is. It's the tree is still there, the tree still has branches, the tree still has bark, the tree has some things growing on it, but it's dry and it's not producing nourishment. And the trees around it aren't helping or can't help. That's literally human too. Everything, animals, humans, whatever. But we need to be around nature. We need to be around others like us. We need to be around a tree if you're a tree, right? You need to be around people who have been through things similar to you, who think similarly to you, and who, still push you to grow, right? I'm not saying live in an echo chamber, right? But it's like you need that sense of camaraderie and, turning over to someone and being able to rest your head or being able to lend your ear to them, It's very different today. And the other part of why I feel like I'm feeling this way is it's so much fakeness online. So much fake spiritualists. Oh, just be happy all the time. And then what happens when life throws you a curveball? You're going to get confused. You're going to shut down. You're going to feel like quitting or stopping instead of just being and letting it roll past you, right? So many people's lives would definitely change if they knew how to self-soothe and detach instead of lashing out and letting that hurt person hurt another person, or as they say, bleeding onto others from your open cut or your open wound. So that's kind of what I'm meditated on today, but that's how I'm feeling. I'm a positive person. I wake up and go to sleep and give thanks, give gratitude, you know, take care of myself still, right? But it's just genuinely like I need a change. I need to disconnect from whatever is going on here and get to a point of change. I know myself well enough to be in a different environment. I know myself well enough to thrive in a different environment, but I need change. And I'm not saying this like I'm not a whole person. I'm not saying this like I'm missing something, but genuinely, imagine if you went through all the toughness and things that formed you into the person you are today, and you met someone who went through the same things, and you got on that level of genuine connection. Like, that's what I wish for. I wish for that in a soulmate, right? Highest hopes, highest regard, highest will that you would want is to have a soulmate, to have someone who you're romantically and not platonically and friendship wise, you know, but also who can coach you and pick you up and comfort you. That that would be amazing to have. That's what I would wish to have. But even a mentor, like a mentor that's walked in your same shoes, right? That shadow looked like a big circle over the sun for a second. Or outline, I should say, not a shadow. But yeah, imagine that. Imagine if you met someone who went through the same exact experiences as you, and hey, that's your coworker now. See, it looks like a circle. Look like a circle here. Like literally, circle. Or a best friend, like I was saying before. Like, you know, it's so much in life that we can yearn for and hope for, but imagine if that's what you were able to have. Just imagine. Just imagine, right? And then imagine how much more calmer you would be knowing that someone in life has experienced everything you had. Imagine how much calmer. Look, more birds. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. So many birds. Flew right over me. Almost looked like bats for a second. But imagine just. And I'm stopping here because I also just walked in a circle. And I'm tired. But just imagine that, right? Imagine you were able to take all of those negative experiences and raise your vibration and lift that dense energy, and then you find someone who's like, oh my gosh, I struggle with that too, or oh my gosh, I'm interested in that too, or oh my gosh, I see life the same way you see life, and people give me terrible advice, and no one's been able to relate, but now I can relate to you. Right? And it's just like, that's what I want. I don't want to be feeling like a fish out of water. I don't want to be feeling like, you know, this person or this neighbor or whatever, look, more birds, doesn't agree with me and looks at me like a freak because I have different views as them. And there is a lot of projection in society with the amount of separation and the amount of division. So that is also an issue, and more birds flying overhead. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't know where those birds are having a meeting at, though. I genuinely do. That is. I really hope that camera caught it. Like, I'm gonna watch back this live and see how many birds I can count. But I also know that other people feel like me, and other people have fought their entire life to feel normal and feel like their experiences aren't alienating them in a way. And, it's just different when you are around those people that get you, or at least can listen to you and, communicate in a non-judgmental way, right? But it's way better if someone has had the same experiences as you, versus someone who's just like, yeah, I kind of get your point, but blah, 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 blah. Right? But it's also like you don't want to drain yourself too much from who you're around. So being around people who are similar to you is another way to just have a high vibration and, be really healthy. Because the less stressed you are, the more healthy you'll be. And the less lonely you feel, the healthier your, rest of your life obviously will be. But yeah, I just kind of have been pondering on that a lot recently. So that's me. Still doing more research, still looking up stuff online, right? But trying not to be online as much. Trying not to be as anxious and focus on the negatives. So yeah, I'm about to loop. Oh, I got a mosquito bite. Oh my gosh. I'm about to loop this area for the second time, but I will let that little bird flock be the end of this. So love you all so much, and I appreciate every single person who listens, even if you've listened to just a little bit and took notes and applied it to your life. Great. If you listen to it, hello. If you listen to like half of it and applied it to your life, great. If you listen to 80% of it, 100% of it, whatever, and you could relate or apply it to shift your life, then fantastic. Fantastic, really. That was a lot of different birds. I'm genuinely curious to see how many